food processor to earn its keep. It should be a countertop workhorse that chops and slices at lightning speed and turns blocks of cheese into dairy streamers without a single grated knuckle. And in today's video, we are going to help you out with that, and we will be looking at the top best food processor that you can buy this year. As always, links to all the products mentioned in this video will be in the description down below. Without further ado, let's get started. In sixth number on our list, we have for you is the Black Plus Decker 8-cup food processor.
The Black & Decker Easy Assembly 8-cup food processor. Meal prep made easy. With the Easy Assembly food processor, it's just set and go. The innovative design lets you just set the bowl down onto the base and start processing in seconds. The stainless steel S-blade and the dual-sided slicing and shredding disc prepare a variety of ingredients fast. Slice whole vegetables for a salad. Shred cheese for easy melting. Chop vegetables to create delicious, fresh salsa. The 450-watt motor can handle a variety of tasks. With 2 speeds and pulse, operation is simple. You'll enjoy peace of mind with a safety interlocking lid. It makes sure the blades don't spin until everything is secured into place. When you're done slicing, shredding, and processing, cleanup is simple. The 8-cup work bowl, lid, and cutting attachments are all dishwasher safe. Plus, the touchpad controls are easy to wipe clean. The Black & Decker Easy Assembly 8-cup food processor, the fast way to delicious home cooking.
In fifth number on our list, we recommend you the Hamilton Beach food processor and vegetable chopper with bowl scraper, 10-cup.
Hi, I'm Kara with Hamilton Beach. If you use a food processor, you know how frequently you have to stop, remove the lid, and scrape the sides of the bowl with a spatula to reduce buildup and even out the mixture, and that can really slow you down. Our solution? The Hamilton Beach Bowl Scraper Food Processor. The scraper attachment travels around the sides of the bowl so you don't have to stop and remove the lid, and it works while the processor is either on or off. Now that's a real time saver when chopping, mixing, or pureeing. The generous 10-cup capacity bowl is roomy enough to slice, dice, and chop a variety of ingredients, and the wide feed chute lets you add a whole block of cheese without pre-cutting. The food processor includes a stainless steel blade for chopping and pureeing, plus a reversible disc for slicing and shredding. And the powerful 450-watt motor comes with 2 speeds, plus pulse control. The bowl, lid, scraper, and blades are all dishwasher safe for easy cleanup. The Hamilton Beach Bowl Scraper Food Processor. Now that's good thinking.
In number 4, we have for you is the Cuisinart DLC 10 SY Pro Classic 7-cup food processor.
Let's go ahead and make something so you can see how efficient it is. We're going to use the flat cover today and the chopping blade, and we're going to make a pecan blue cheese spread. So first we're going to add the pecans, just like this. We're going to put the lid on, like so, and then we're going to pulse. And when you first start using a food processor, we always tell consumers to make sure they use the pulse feature because it gives you a lot more control over the results. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to add the cream cheese, like that, and the blue cheese. And this is going to give it a really nice, smooth consistency, but you're still going to get a nice crunch with the pecans. I'm going to put the lid back on, and then we're going to chop again until it's totally incorporated. There you go. Look how quick and easy that was. And do you remember I said to you our spatula has a flat side? That's meant for scraping down your bowl. It's really efficient and easy to use. And then I'm just going to put this spread right in this little container here. And it's going to be really, really fresh and flavorful. And if you have company, you can use this as a great appetizer. And what you can do is put it out like that, spread it on some bread or some crackers, and it'll be a nice pungent thing to have with a great red wine.
In third number on our best food processor list, we have for you is the Breville BFP 800 XL Sous Chef food processor.
Introducing the Breville Sous Chef, the all-in-one kitchen workhorse. The 5.5-inch super wide chute is about 3 times larger than standard food processors. The mini bowl sits inside the extra large 16-cup processing bowl. Whenever you use any of the discs, make sure the spindle is in the correct position. The adjustable slicer should always be in the storage position when not using it, and it'll conceal the blade. This is the first adjustable slicer to have the versatility of 24 thickness control settings. The 0 setting slices super fine at 0.33mm slices to a thick 8mm slice on 8. When you're slicing, check to make sure that the blade is at the 12 o'clock position, as you don't want it directly beneath the chute. The small chute is ideal for carrots or leeks when you don't need a pusher. The reversible shredding disc achieves both coarse and fine grating. For coarser shredding, to make things like coleslaw, the larger holes should be facing up. In seconds, you'll have perfectly grated cabbage. For finer shredding, flip the disc and have the smaller holes facing up. The julienne disc is great to cut carrots and zucchini for salads. For shorter matchstick sized vegetables, use the small feed chute and put them straight in. Use the French fry disc and you can fit a whole potato to make 5-inch French fries. Or for a new twist, try sweet potato. Be sure not to apply too much pressure and just let it grab the potato. The emulsifying disc is used to whip and aerate ingredients such as cream, egg whites, milkshakes, and mayonnaise. The timer is handy to make recipes for the first time, and you can monitor the time it takes and then program it in for the next time. The micro-serrated S-blade chops raw and cooked food to puree, chop and mince. For many processing tasks, we recommend the pulse button so you can really control the size you want. For raw meat, chicken and fish, cut them into 1-inch cubes and then use the start pause button to mince them. The kneading blade is great for pastry and bread and can easily handle large batches of dough. The mini bowl is ideal for time-consuming prep chores like chopping garlic. To store, there's a retractable cord that neatly sits in the heavy-duty die-cast base, and you can lock the box and store it on its side. The Sous Chef, brought to you by the food thinkers of Breville.
In number 2, we have for you is the Cuisinart DFP14 BCNY 14-cup food processor.
Hi, I'm Mary Rogers, and this is a Cuisinart Classic Series 14-cup food processor. It's a very generous size, so you'll have plenty of room to be doing all your family entertaining, but it's still a nice small footprint, so you can use it for every day too. So you'll notice it's got a nice square base, and it has what we call paddles to operate. So here, this one, you press it down, it's on. This one is off. And if you press and hold this one down intermittently, it would be for pulsing. So, has a nice smooth finish. It's stainless steel on the outside. Has a lid that you remove by twisting and just pulling it off. It's really simple and easy to operate. This is your feed tube. And there's also a smaller feed tube inside, which I'm going to show you how to use a little bit later. And you can actually drop things in through the feed tube like garlic, or we're going to do garlic and jalapeno, and you can actually have the machine running, and it's a very efficient way to chop up garlic and some other items. The other thing is that it's great if you want to add liquid very slowly. The small feed tube has a small hole in it, so if you want to make vinaigrette, you can just pour the oil directly into the small feed tube. Or if you're going to make mayonnaise where you want to slowly incorporate any kind of oil, it'll just drip through the feed tube directly into your bowl in a very consistent way so that you get a great finished mayonnaise or a vinaigrette. So let's look at some of the other items that come with your food processor. In the bowl already is your chopping blade. And we call this the S blade because it's shaped like a little bit like an S. And this is used for everything from chopping herbs and onions to pureeing, mixing, and also kneading doughs. And then the next thing is your stem. And the stem is attached to the bottom of your discs by lining up this arrow here with this one here. It's a little hard to see. And you just press this down and turn to lock it into place. And then what you would do is you hold your disc by the edges, and there's also a little icon up here. It's the same shape as the stem on the bottom, and if you line those two up, you can just slip it in really easily. So that's the shredding disc, and it's medium. We always recommend that you lay the disc down and then put on the stem accordingly. And to do any type of slicing and shredding, you would use the medium slicing disc, not shredding, slicing. And you do the same thing. You line the little arrows up. You press and turn to lock it into place. Always hold it by the edges. And once again, if you line the stem up, I'm not doing it very good, but this is the way it goes. You just slide it right into the work bowl. And then what you would do is you put your lid back on and you would slice and shred. So you could either use the pulse function to slice, or what you can do is you can turn it on. But as soon as you remove the feed tube, it'll stop. So that you would then add more ingredients, and we can do batch processing. So you would add, let's say, potatoes, slice, and then continue on. And then we're going to turn it off. So what we're going to do today, that's all of the parts that come with your food processor. And also you get a little spatula we help you with. What we're going to do now is we're going to put in the chopping blade. I'm going to show you how to make a guacamole very quickly and easily. So just put that in. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our cilantro. I'm going to add most of it, not all of it. And you're going to see how efficient this machine is at chopping up ingredients. So very quickly and easily. So I modified this recipe a little bit in comparison to how it's written in our instruction manual. Next, we're going to add our tomatoes, which were seeded, and the pulp the interior was taken out, the seeds. And we're going to pulse that until it's finely chopped. When you first start using a food processor, it's a good idea to actually use the pulse function because of the fact that you just want to get used to using it. You also want to get used to the consistency, and it gives you much greater control. So I'm just going to reserve this. Sorry, this is like I'm going to reserve some of this so that when we put the guacamole together at the end, it'll still have some of the chunky tomato, but I'm not going to do all of it. And when if you have your own favorite recipes, you can modify accordingly. So just remember that whatever you put in the bowl first, if it stays in there the whole time while you're chopping and mixing or pureeing, that will be the smallest thing at the end. So just keep that in mind. So I didn't remove everything, just most of it. So the next thing what we're going to do is, with the machine on and running, we're going to drop in the garlic and the jalapeno through the feed tube. We're going to stop and just scrape down the bowl. And then we're going to move on and add our onions, our green onion. Whoops, sorry. So we have to add the green onion. Again, we're going to chop that until it's fine. And then we're going to add the majority of the rest of our ingredients. The first being our fresh avocados. So just do that by adding that like so. And the last of the ingredients. So of course, lime juice. This helps keep your guacamole also very fresh looking and gives it lots of extra flavor. This is the salt, cumin, and then the last ingredient is the chili powder. Give it a little zip. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the lid back on, and then we're going to pulse until it's really creamy. we're going to do is I'm just going to scrape it down one last time, and then I'm also going to add, because it still needs to be processed a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do at this point too is add the balance of the cilantro that I reserved. Okay, that looks like it's mixed really well because it's very creamy. I'll show you. It's nice and very, very creamy looking. So the last step is to add back in the tomatoes and the cilantro. And this is really just so that they don't become, you know, when you're pureeing the guacamole, you know, if it stays in there the whole time, you won't see the chunks of the tomato anymore. Let's just add that back in, and we're going to pulse until it's incorporated. So that's that. So now what we're going to do is I'm just going to add this to our decorative bowl for serving. And you know, you could also put a beautiful lime wedge on top. The other thing that you can do is add maybe a couple extra little pieces of tomato. Oh, I'm going to show you a little trick also. This is a really, really big batch of guacamole, so it's great if you're going to have a party. But the other thing too to remember is if you are going to be making this and then serving it like later, it's a good idea to put a couple of the pits in with the guacamole in the meantime, because this actually helps it, along with the lime juice, from turning brown on you. So you want to just cover this up. You can put it in the fridge if you want, or you can eat it right away. The other thing I want to mention too is there's so many great things that you can use your food processor for, not just guacamole, but you can make pizza dough or pasta dough. You can also make cookies. You can make all kinds of things like chicken salads and vinaigrettes. It's a lot of fun to use. It's really simple to operate. And the best thing about it is all the removable parts are dishwasher safe.
In number 1, we recommend you the best overall food processor from Breville, the BFP 660 SIL Sous Chef 12-cup food processor.
Variety is the slice of life. With an adjustable slicer, shredder, S-blade and dough blade, the Breville Sous Chef 12 gives professional food prep results in seconds. Let's see it in action. Speed of a food processor combined with the precision of a professional chef. The Sous Chef 12, brought to you by the food thinkers at Breville.
6.6 inches and the depth is 7.8 inches. The cord length is about 32 inches. There is cord storage on the bottom. It's 250 watts and weighs 6.6 pounds. This food processor is available in silver, red, onyx black, matte black, and white. The lid has a latch and is removable. Push down and latch to close. The lid has a 2-piece pusher. The small pusher has a hole to drizzle in oil when making dressings. This is the medium reversible slicing and shredding disc. This side says slice, and here's the slicing blade. The opposite side says shred, and here are the shredding blades. You see the white lines in the middle, and on the disc, if you match them up, it'll stay on top and you can use the disc. Give it a quarter turn and it goes down and stays there for storage. This is the stainless steel multi-purpose blade. The drive adapter sits on the drive pin. Just lift up the bowl to remove and push it down on the base. You don't have to twist it, it just clicks into place. The work bowl holds 7 cups or 1.7 liters. There's a max fill line marked, so don't fill above that. There are 3 buttons on the base: low, high, and off pulse. When you press one of the buttons, it'll light up and run continuously. You can press the button again to turn off or the off pulse button to turn off. When you're using the disc, you don't have to hold the button down, just push it down once and it'll just run continuously. With the pulse button, just hold and let go to chop your food. With the multi-purpose blade, you can chop vegetables, fruits, cheese, chocolate, and nuts. Also mince or puree, and mix sauces and batters. With the disc, on low speed, you can slice soft fruit, potatoes, tomatoes, and soft vegetables. On high, slice cheese, chocolate, hard fruits, and vegetables. With the shredding side, on low you can do potatoes and soft vegetables. On high, cabbage, cheese, chocolate, and hard fruits and vegetables. When you first get the unit, wash the parts in warm soapy water and dry. You can also wash in the top rack of your dishwasher. First, I'll chop garlic. Use the multi-purpose blade. Put the pusher in. To mince garlic, turn the food processor on and just drop the garlic cloves through the chute. Press high and just drop the garlic in. Peeled whole garlic cloves. Press the high button again and it turns off. Take the blade out. There's one big piece, but most of the garlic is chopped nicely. I've cut up 2 red onions into about 1-inch size pieces. I'm going to pulse a few times. That looks pretty good. You can pulse longer, of course, depending on how finely you want the onions chopped. There are a few larger pieces here. There's another one. But the majority is chopped evenly. I've got a few tomatoes that I've cut up into 1.5-inch pieces. We'll pulse these. This is about 2/3 full. The onions were about half full. It's best not to fill food processors up too much. I'll use the pulse function and do it a couple of times. There's a big piece. Oh, here's another one. There's one more big piece. There's two big pieces. Everything else is chopped all right. It's a decent job. It's not great. Oh, here's another piece. So it's about 3 big pieces. If you want a puree, just let the machine run continuously after you pulse a few times. I just rinsed off the bowl and the lid. Now I'll try slicing. Put the adapter in, the disc with the slicing blade on top. I was going to slice the cucumber whole, but it won't fit in the chute. It's too tight. This is your average hothouse or English cucumber. It's not that big, so I feel that the chute is a little on the smaller side. The chute isn't very wide, so you're going to have to cut up your produce. You won't get circles. Just cut the cucumber in half lengthwise. That fits. Try to pack the chute so everything stands up. Don't pack it too tight, but just enough so that everything stands up and it doesn't fall over. I've got the 2 pushers. Just use it to push down the cucumber. I'm going to press high and just leave it on. That was really fast. And there are no pieces on the disc, which is good. It's not too thick or thin. It's not bad at all. It's pretty even. Now I'll use the other side to shred some carrots. Got 3 carrots here. I'll process on high. And then just press the button again to stop. There are a few pieces on the disc, which is normal for any food processor. So grated carrots should look like this. Towards the end, you might have noticed that the tops of the carrots got stuck a little bit in the chute because they were kind of fat. I had to press down harder, and that sort of grated the carrots a little too fine like this. I should have put the fatter top side down so I could tell how much would fit in the chute. So definitely do that when you process carrots or any other vegetable. If they get stuck, you can press down a little bit, but don't use too much force. Just stop the machine, take out the carrots or whatever other produce, and you can just cut them up and process again. I've rinsed out the bowl and lid and the blade. So far it's pretty easy to clean. Now I'll grate a block of cheddar cheese. It's 8 ounces of cheddar. I'll grate it on high. It fits perfectly in the chute. I meant to grate, but I sliced instead. The slicing blade was on top. Really good slices though. So remember to always use very cold cheese right out of the fridge. This is good for appetizers if you just want to put it on crackers. A little bit got squished on the side here. So I'm happy I made that mistake. Now you can see how perfectly cheese is sliced in this unit. Now I'll put the correct side up for grating. It says shred. Luckily I have another block of cheddar that was already open. On high. Little bit of smushed cheese here, a few pieces on top. Again, that's normal. The cheese is shredded really nicely. Really good job on slicing the cheese and shredding the cheese. Now I'll chop some walnuts. Using the multi-purpose blade, about a cup. I'll pulse a few times. The nuts are chopped okay. They're not great. There are some big pieces, and a lot of the nuts were just processed really fine into a powder. This is an okay job on the nuts. Now I'll try making a pie dough. This is 2 cups of all-purpose flour and a little salt. I've got the blade in. This is cold butter that I've cut up into small cubes. Pulse this a few times until crumbly. Then I'm gonna add ice water through the chute. Do put the 2-piece pusher in the chute. You don't want flour flying all over the place. That looks good. Take the small food pusher out and pour in cold water. Pulse a few times, pour in the ice water, and then use high. I used low for a little bit just to see how it would work, but it is best to use high. You saw all the flour is contained in here. It did not come out of the bowl at all, which is good. You can see it holds together, which is what you want. You don't want this to form a ball, you just want everything to come together. It'll be in big clumps like this, but when you push the clumps together, it'll hold together like this. Take the blade out. And you should be able to just bring it together. You don't want to work this too much, just enough to form it into a disc. So this unit did a really good job on the dough. No flour went flying. Everything came together nicely and the machine did not struggle. I'll wrap this and chill it, then it'll be ready to make pie. If you want to puree cooked fruits and vegetables, use a 1/4 cup of liquid per cup of food. Pulse a few times and then you can process. I peeled a few apples, cut them up, cooked them, and this is what the puree looks like. It's a smooth applesauce. After going to the dentist, if you can only eat pureed food, pulse your cooked meats, stews, curries, whatever it is, a few times, and then just process on high. Pureed until coarse like this, or longer so it's fine like this. You can chop raw meat to a maximum of 1 pound, cut into 1-inch pieces, use short pulses, and the meat should be cold. To shred cheese, firm cheese should be cold, and soft cheese like mozzarella, freeze about 15 minutes before shredding. With liquids, don't fill the bowl more than 2/3 full. And if you're chopping fruits and vegetables, no more than half full. Things you cannot use this food processor for: grinding coffee beans, grains, or hard spices, bones, slicing hard-cooked eggs, or room temperature meats. For coffee and hard spices, I always recommend a coffee grinder. All the parts are top rack dishwasher safe, and the bowl shouldn't lay on its side. The base can be wiped down with a damp cloth. Cleaning was pretty easy. All the parts rinsed out well. Nothing got stuck except for this one little groove inside the lid. That's where the cheese got stuck. I just used a kitchen brush to get into that space and clean it out. It is always best to clean all the parts right after you're finished using the food processor. So this way nothing gets stuck on and makes it harder to clean. I'm not a big fan of this latch design. You really have to push down on the lid, and it's just not that convenient. As for the performance, the slicing probably worked the best. The shredding part of the disc worked well for the carrots and cheese. Nuts were okay. Onions, you saw there were some big pieces. Tomatoes, there were a couple of big pieces. This unit did a really good job on the dough, and the pureed food came out nicely. If you want to try out this KitchenAid, I'll leave a link in the description below. As always, I hope you found this review helpful. If you did,
Food prep can be an aggravating and time-consuming barrier that can make the thought of cooking at home simply overwhelming. Luckily, this Ninja Professional food processor is an all-in-one kitchen appliance and has versatile functionality and this large 9-cup capacity that can help you complete your food prep in one batch. The innovative preset programs and the dedicated attachments help provide superior chopping and mixing, ultimately so that your food prep can be easier and you can spend less time in the kitchen and more time eating. Powered by the 1000 peak watt motor, you can effortlessly tackle the toughest jobs and the hardest ingredients. It's never been easier to chop vegetables, shred cheese, make smooth sauces, and cookie dough from scratch, all at the touch of one button. I can tell that this product has a lot of functionality and the versatility to make a ton of different types of meals. And I love that it comes with this recipe book with so many ideas to get my creative juices flowing. But today, I think I'm in the mood for some pizza. So let's get started by making some homemade pizza dough. Okay, first let's get everything assembled. We're gonna put our bowl onto our base and lock it into place. For the dough, we're gonna be using this dough blade. We'll pop the lid off really quick so we can get this blade in. I've already got my ingredients measured out, so we're just gonna start putting them into the bowl. Get our olive oil in here, some salt, and our flour. Oh, this is gonna be so good. I love the smell of fresh dough. Okay, that was easy. Now we just gotta put the lid on. That only took a couple minutes to assemble, and now all the ingredients are gonna be mixed together with the touch of one button. Lock that in, and I'm gonna press dough. Woo! Oh my goodness. Wow, that was awesome. That took less than a minute. This large bowl can evenly process up to 9 cups of ingredients and 2 pounds of dough in as little as 30 seconds. That capacity plus the professional performance means that you're getting your food prep done right the first time and in one batch. All right, we're gonna let this dough sit. While this is resting, let's check out some of the other functions. The chopping blade is designed to uniformly cut veggies or blend ingredients into smooth sauces or purees. I can tell just by looking at these 4 sharp stainless steel blades that this is gonna make my food prep fast. There's a preset program on here called Chop, so I can just throw in some garlic, some veggies, press a button, and I'll have perfectly chopped ingredients to start any recipe. It's super easy to change the attachments. I've already washed my bowl, so I'm just gonna take this dough blade out and replace it with the chop so that we can make our pizza sauce. And now just select Puree. Amazing. It smells so good. Okay, now that the pizza bases are done, let's talk about toppings. This is the reversible slicing and shredding disc, and it's the perfect helper. It's super easy to assemble, just like the chopping blade, and we just have to decide which side we want to use. You can see here there's etched in, it says slicer, and then on the other side it's shredder. So shredding would be for shredded cheese or cabbage if you want to make your own coleslaw, and then the slicer would be for things like pepperoni or potatoes if you want to make your own homemade chips, or vegetables for a side salad. So I'm just going to lock this into place and then place the disc with the desired function facing up. I've already pre-shredded some cheese, so the only thing left to do is to top our pizzas. Get some pepperoni on there. Oh my gosh, these look incredible. And of course, top it with more cheese. Woohoo! Okay, these guys are ready for the oven. The Ninja Professional Food Processor also has manual functions, low, high, and pulse. If you're a visual cooker, you can simply select low or high to continuously run at those speeds until the mixture is to your liking. Or for the ultimate control, you can use the pulse button, and that will process for as long or short as your fingers on the button. That's really good for if you just want short spurts to get something a little bit more mix or chopped. Well, this pizza looks like it wants to be eaten, so I'm gonna help it out. Yum! Nothing tastes better than knowing you made everything from scratch all in one appliance. If you want more recipe inspiration or have more questions, visit ninjakitchen.com to find everything you're looking for.